You got your shitting pants on.
Because you are about to shit your pants.
Oh, jelly donut!
I'm your huckleberry.
You're not looking at the big picture. You're not looking at the big picture.
Something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Big Picture. I am Michael Sargent, your host. Sounds like I'm in a pretty good mood, huh? Well, what it sounds like and what it is are two entirely different things. Alright, first up, let me move this microphone just a little bit closer so you can hear what I'm saying. Alright, I try not to be a douchebag, okay, to other photographers. Well, you know, everybody who listens heard that I was pretty annoyed with Ken Wheeler, and still is. And screw Ken Wheeler, all right? He's he's not the focus of my attention. What I am going to tell you, okay, is I don't like bullshit. I don't like being bullshitted. And that's kind of what I've had to deal with here just recently. All right. So, I've learned a few things, you know, regarding me, my photography, and what people will say about me personally. And whether you agree with my political stance or not, it doesn't matter to me. The thing is, I can lay out in a couple of very easy facts. I can lay these out, and then I can ask you whether or not you support them or not. And if you are the type that support them, then clearly you're not the type of person that I would get along with socially. I wouldn't hang in your circles, let's put it that way. If you don't agree with them, but you still agree with certain political parties, then that tells me that you're uninformed. And I get accused of saying a lot of stupid shit that comes generally from people who support the left's agenda. You know, some of the things that they do, like Obamacare, you know, and clearly there's so many people that have no idea, you know, what Obamacare was designed to do. And that's fine. That's all part of that low information. You know, they feel that they're educated. They speak in an educated manner, but they don't base things on facts. So that's a failure. That's definitely a failure.
But I failed!
So I can't worry about that. But what I will tell you is there's been some rumor that was spread about me and who I am as a person. And, you know, surprisingly enough, you know, it comes from within. And you learn this, and then you think, wow, okay. Enough said about that. But from the photography standpoint, I've learned recently that there are things that I do, you know, in specific category, like my sports portraits. They are pretty well regarded, you know, among athletes, people that see them. The student portraits that I did with athletes, you know, everybody seems to go wild over them, but unfortunately what ends up happening is my demographic area chooses to go with another photographer. And this all kind of ties in together because I don't infringe on other people's niches, but when I create something, there are people that will infringe on mine. And I guess I can understand why people do it. I know why I'm about to do it. Yeah, you're getting it here first. I am going to infringe my skill set onto a whole new genre of photography, one that I haven't done a lot of work in. But I can promise you this. What I'm going to do, what I'm about to do, is going to be a feather in my cap. And it's realistically going to be pretty well regarded. I'm a little tired of people who basically ignore me for whatever reason at this point with photography, considering some of the work I do that most people don't even know I do. I hear these, stories about how we're booked 2 years in advance, and I'm just going to call it for what it is. It's kind of bullshit. And I would say that time management is huge with all this. I mean, I did a wedding last Saturday. And of course, everybody knows that I don't do weddings anymore. I'm done with them. But for the sake of argument, I did do a wedding the other night, and I captured a shit ton of photos, and I edited them, and I had them done by the middle of the following day. And the photos were good. They were colorful. They were very well received by the clients' families. I just operate a little differently than most photographers. And here's the difference. I learned a long time ago that you only have one chance to shoot the original photo correctly. And I am a huge proponent of shooting it right in the camera. You want it to look as close to your vision as you possibly can, right out of camera. And I do that a lot. And I can do it because my skill set with my photography is to know how to operate that camera. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. No upgrade in camera is going to improve your photography if you do not know how to shoot that photo in camera correctly. So recently, I started to review some portfolios and looking at past work and things like that. And I do that with my own stuff sometimes, just to see the progression in the way that I do things differently, as time goes on. And I got to tell you, I mean, when something is so consistent that you don't see any improvement, it turns into a one-trick pony. And the problem with one-trick ponies is if they don't develop something new or a different look with the photographs, guess what happens? It becomes stale. And staleness is never good when you're a photographer. A prime example, Joel Grimes always shoots dramatic portraiture. And a lot of times you'll see him photograph something on a black backdrop or a very dark backdrop. And the photos look great. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, this guy is incredible. All of a sudden, Joel Grimes puts out a photograph of an athlete on a white backdrop with a very dramatic look to it. The photo was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Very dramatic, very colorful, and bright, which is not usually what Joel Grimes does. So what I'm saying is, I have said it for quite some time that what I'm doing with photography is a little different than the status quo. And the only way people ever really know that is when they come into the studio and see what I actually do. I see people infringing, who's never shot a headshot before, infringing on my headshot niche in this little area. And what I noticed is a lot of times you don't see those photos posted online, and the reason why you don't see them posted online is because they're not that good. That's the only reason. Okay? In this area, I am the guy that originally brought headshots to our demographic area. But when you're basically cock-blocked by a said photographer, by anybody, because they have a pretty good business, and listen, I'm not bitching about this. I'm basically stating a fact that I've learned a few things here recently regarding what people, other photographers say or do to keep me from getting business. That's all going to stop very shortly, because now I'm going to inflict my wrath or my skill set into other markets, into other niches. And we're gonna let the photo speak for itself. The other problem that a lot of people don't really realize, I do other work, okay? A lot of work that I do does not get put online because it's commercial photography. It's used for a specific purpose, and I'm working for an actual client. A lot of times people don't see that or are not aware of that. And I also work a full-time job. Well, let's put it this way. What you call a full-time job, I do double that. So my time is limited that I can actually spend doing photographs. And this is what I've tried to change. I've tried to bridge that gap where I do more photography work and a little less of other work. And what's happening right now is I'm getting a lot of phone calls regarding appointments, bookings. And a lot of it is because of the certain types of photography I do. But I'm going to put it out there very shortly. There's 2 new types of photography that I'm going to start doing. And I promise you that it's going to be something that most people wouldn't think I would be good at. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be good. It's going to be iconic. And I'm doing it because there is nobody that's going to tell me what I am going to photograph and what I'm not going to photograph. As stated, people have kind of tried to muscle in on my sports portraits, and I shouldn't even say that. It's whether people have a choice. They can go to whoever. I just know that as far as headshots go in this area, nobody's better than me. I can also say that as far as dramatic, athletic portraits, there's nobody better than me. And I will not take certain jobs because, as anybody who's into this photography game knows, the equipment is expensive. I'm expensive. Don't ask me to shoot things for free. I may cut you a break, but don't ask me to shoot things for free. Because this person wouldn't do you, or you're being referred. There's a lot of crap, and I'm not trying to tell anybody to get away, but the secret to surviving in a saturated market is something that I've studied and I kind of learned, and I'm going to as stated last week, there's things that I'm going to step my game up with. And this is one of them. Whether people think that it's impossible for me to overtake or overcome, I'm no stranger to having battles, to winning, and make no mistake about it. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I'm saying right now that I am going to start pushing an agenda. I'm going to start impacting people's comfort zones, other photographers' comfort zones. And you want to know why? Because I can. And I have. And I'm going to do it again. It's that simple. Everybody has their own thing, their own style, their own way of doing things. And me as one, person who likes to look at the creative side of things, I have a way I like to do things. I have a vision. Every time that a concept comes into my head about doing a certain photograph, there's this concept, this thought of how I'm going to compose this image. Last summer, I had shot several macro photographs in camera and posted those photos. And it was to prove a point that you need to shoot it right within the camera because you only get one shot to do that. And I see it constantly where people, their photos are so edited, so over-edited, to correct their deficiencies behind a camera. I mean, that just blows me away. And whether, don't get me wrong, the photos look nice, but if they're not taken right in camera, they're missing a certain impact. And that's what I'm going to start bringing to the table. I mean, you can create things right out, but what I see anymore is a lot of photos taken and then Photoshop actions or presets put over top of the original photograph to create a different type of look. Well, that's okay, but when everything is done that way, what's that tell you? I know people that use things like, and not saying that they're a bad thing or a bad product, but because people don't understand flashes and lighting, people will go out and buy diffusers. And one of the things that I've noticed is like people will go out and buy a Gary Fong diffuser. And because they're readily available, I mean, you can get them at almost any camera store. I've never used one. I don't want to use one. I do have a beauty dish for my flash that I use in certain applications. But if you don't know how to control the power of a flash, to capture the right image, then that's kind of shortcomings. And it's been made clear to me that based on the trash talking or the things that have been said, that I need to start exposing some shortcomings, especially for me and what I do as a photographer. You hate it, you hate doing it, but when people take advantage of your kindness, when people just don't seem to understand that you do a certain thing and all of a sudden they decide that they want to impact on you, well, I think what's fair is fair. It's amazing. Last week, like I said, I shot a wedding. I had 35, 40 people come into my studio that wanted portraits. And they were all paying customers. All paying customers. And because there were so many, I gave some pretty good deals to people. You know why? Because once people find out who you are and what you really like, changes everything. But the perception's put out there, well, Mike doesn't do that kind of work, or, I don't have time to do you, so, if you want to talk to somebody, talk to Mike Sargent. Blows me away. So, here's what's up for this coming weekend. I have headshots on Saturday, which I plan to kick that ass. I have a very special client coming in, that shares some interesting personal things with me. They've experienced some of the things that I have recently, and there's a common interest. So we have that. We have a project that we're going to do after the fact together. I expect that's going to be a very kick-ass, project when it's done. I also have 2 new things that I'm going to be doing. And you're just going to have to wait to see them. But trust me, my intent on taking these photos is just basically let certain people know that they're really not as good as they think they are. And it's very easy for me to produce imagery, natural imagery in camera that is better than some people's edited photos. I know, I sound like a dick. But I'm a little tired of being taken advantage of. That's why this show is on today, and this is why we're talking about this subject. Wow. Okay. So, let's take a very quick break. Okay? Very quick break. And we'll be right back to wrap this show up.
Mama said, but Mike, don't you want to be comfortable? I said, no, I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be scared out of my head and lost out of my mind. I want to fall in and out of love a few 1,000 times. I want to spend all of my money on my friends and I want to ride around on a horse and give people hugs. And when I come into town, they'll say, oh, there's Mike. There's something wrong with that boy. I swear he just ain't right. 'Cause I won't waste another day living someone else's way. I want to be happy. I want to be free. Forget what they say. I'm doing me.
All right, welcome back. So, I guess basically what's been done is I've put some people on notice. Now, I did a lot of blah, 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 talking big shit, okay? Cocky stuff. What did Kid Rock say? Yeah, I'm cocky. So what? It ain't bragging when you back it up. And I'm going to back it up. Allegedly. No, I will. Promise. I'm going to create some imagery that is going to be powerful. And that's what it's about. So, let's talk about Sony for a second. See how expensive Sony lenses are? A lot of money. A lot of money. I'm enjoying Sony. I really am. Still a Canon guy, but I'm enjoying Sony. Lots of things to go on. And I have some online conferencing and online classes that I'm taking. Like I said, there's a lot of things. I got a lot of things going on. And if all this stuff doesn't kill me first, I should be able to be in a spot that I'll be happy to be in. All right. So, I've talked about this a couple of times. Sponsors. This podcast is now accepting sponsors and has a couple of sponsors. So what I'm basically throwing out there is anybody who is interested in sponsoring the program, please contact us, okay? Or contact me. You can get a hold of me at bigpitcher@mrsargent.com. Sorry, all Western New York news. I'm still still airing on your platform, but this show has kind of grown by leaps and bounds and is basically heard all over the internet now. And although a lot of people might not get this, might not understand this, there's a lot of people that actually like what I have to say. I know, hard to believe, right? Well, believe it. I have the numbers. I always think this show sucks because I just talk. But there's some things that we're going to change up for 2019. We are going to bring some guests in. We're going to talk more about photography. I may even have other photographers on the program, and we'll talk about what they do as photographers. Whether that actually comes down or not, I don't know. Just depends. A team is put together, people. A team is put together. We have projects to do. We're going to do them. We're going to rock shit out of them. And, I got to throw the dig in there. There's a video guy that I used to try to do some stuff with, and his short-sightedness and stupidity is been part of the problem. I recently learned that it was said that I would never go anywhere with what I do, and oddly enough, they have no idea. They have no idea what I've been able to do. Video. I've learned a lot about video editing, creating things. There's some videos that I've recently put out just for my business that very well received. A lot of shares, a lot of views, a lot of likes, a lot of comments. Comments, too, are what kills me. It's like, holy crap, Mike, that's powerful. This brought a tear to my eye. I got chills down my spine when I listened to that. I even got called the new Morgan Freeman because of my soft-spoken and deeper voice. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I can see me being Morgan Freeman. That's awesome. Anyway, we're about done for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to see what I'm up to, you can go to www.mrsargent.com or scratch that. Go to msargentphoto.com. Mr. Sargent was a bad choice for a website that we started out with, and it's done me little to no good. So that name was changed to M. Sargent Photo. And, when you're getting 35,000 hits a month on your web page, and a lot of it is from commercial clients that see some of the work that you do and are interested in you doing work for them, I'd say we did pretty well with the website. It's simple. It's easy to navigate. And people can buy prints there. People that I shoot, they're able to go get prints there. So it works out pretty good for me. There's a business model. All right, people. That's all I got for this week. Thanks for listening. We're out.